The first aliens arrived during a calm winter. That should have been the warning. They came down on the northern continent, where the ice never fully melts. Their ship settled on a glacier older than human writing. The air was still. The sky was clear. The temperature was deadly by human standards and pleasant by theirs. They called themselves the Kellen. They were tall and pale. Their skin looked like frost glass. Their eyes were dark and reflective. Their breath made no steam. They lived in what they called an ice shelter. It was not impressive. The shelter was shallow. It was thin. It was grown from compressed ice and crystal threads. No thick walls, no deep foundations, no visible power grid. Human engineers watched the scans and laughed. The Coalition Council laughed too. Earth had spent decades building bunkers, deep bunkers, wide bunkers, double-layered bunkers with shock, isolation, and thermal buffering and redundant everything. Humanity had learned the hard way. Asteroid winters, solar flares, nuclear near misses, climate collapse scares. We built to survive the worst. So when the Kellen showed their ice shelter, they smiled in that careful alien way and asked if Earth wished to learn. The answer was polite but firm. No thank you. We already have bunkers. The Kellen delegation visited one. They were escorted underground, 5 kilometers down, past blast doors and pressure seals, past heat sinks and fusion backups, past walls layered with composite alloys and smart ceramics. The humans were proud. This bunker could survive anything. The Kellen touched the walls. They listened. They tilted their heads. Then they laughed. It was a strange sound, sharp and musical, like cracking ice. They said the bunker was loud. They said it was rigid. They said it fought the planet. The human guide frowned. The Kellen said fighting always loses. The council dismissed that as philosophy. The Kellen returned north. They built more ice shelters. They invited no one else. Winter deepened. Then the sun dimmed. It was not sudden. That was the worst part. It faded by degrees. Solar output dropped. Stellar readings spiked with unfamiliar noise. No flare, no blast, just loss. Within a week, the planet cooled. Within 2 weeks, storms began. Snow fell where rain should have been. Oceans crusted with ice. Winds screamed across continents. The meteorologists ran out of words. They called it a blizzard. Then they stopped. The storm did not move. It grew. It fed on the temperature drop. It wrapped the planet in rotating walls of ice cloud. Jet streams collapsed. Pressure systems locked. The day-night cycle blurred. It became dark, then darker. Emergency broadcasts went global. All citizens report to bunkers. This is not a drill. Humanity went underground. The bunkers sealed. At first everything worked. Heat systems compensated. Air recyclers hummed. Structural braces flexed as designed. Day 3, the ground began to groan. Day 4, microfractures spread through bedrock as temperature gradients sharpened. The bunkers were rigid. They resisted. The planet moved anyway. Day 5, the first bunker lost a wall. It did not shatter. It cracked. A clean crack. Enough. Cold rushed in. People froze where they stood. Day 6, power draw spiked. Reactors pushed harder. Heat had nowhere to go. The surrounding rock was colder than space. Thermal stress built. Systems failed one by one. Day 7, the deep bunkers began to fail faster than the shallow ones. No one expected that. Day 8, the Coalition Council bunker went dark. No signal after that. The storm did not care. Day 9. Surface sensors showed something impossible. Movement. Structures were rising through the snow. Ice shelters. The Kellen were active. Their shelters flexed with the storm. They bent. They shifted. Ice flowed like muscle. Heat bled gently into the ground instead of fighting it. They had not sealed themselves off. They had joined the planet. Human survivors saw the shelters open. Warm light spilled out. Not hot, balanced. The Kellen walked into the storm. They did not wear suits. They did not hurry. They reached broken bunker vents and sealed doors and cracked shafts. They cut through ice and stone with tools that sang softly. They pulled humans out. Frozen, burned, alive, dead. They took the living to the shelters. Day 10. A message broke through the storm bands. Low power, narrow beam. It was Kellen. They addressed anyone who could hear. They said the planet was not dying. They said this had happened before. They said the sun would recover. They said the storm would last 11 days. They said humanity built walls. They said walls break. They said shelters must breathe. Day 11. The wind slowed. Snow fell gently. The sky lightened. The sun returned pale but steady. Ice began to melt. The storm loosened its grip. The bunkers were tombs. The ice shelters stood after humanity counted losses. The numbers were unbearable. The Kellen did not celebrate. They mourned with us. They taught us. They showed how to build with the planet, not against it. They showed flexible foundations, thermal harmony, structures that yielded without failing. We stopped calling them ice shelters. We called them living shelters. Years later, a new bunker was built. It was shallow. It was flexible. It was quiet. A human child asked why it was better. An engineer answered, because it listens. And far to the north, a Kellen laughed softly, not in mockery, in relief. Humanity had learned, and the planet endured.